Hello there, Internet. Hello there, YouTube. It is the Hermit Gamer with another of my famous, yes, utterly famous Vermintide II streams. Today, I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing. Hopefully, the rats are not going to actually make me cry. Hopefully. I do actually have something very interesting to talk about, though. But just to, all right. So hold on. All right. You know what? I have to do this like for my sanity. Uh, for my sanity. Okay, let's. You know what? Do that. How about
Let
that?
the games begin.
Fantastic production values, superb quality stream, and yes. So here, look. Here I am. I recorded this. This is one I baked earlier. Here I am, walking out. This is against the grain on cattle. I was trying to do this with bots on stream and I couldn't do it. This is me doing it with bots off stream on like the first attempt, and it was not hard. It was like the end event was basically empty. Look at this, because we just killed everything in this corner. But it takes a long time to do cattle with bots, by the way, unless you're crazy at the game. But like, you know, these aren't like non-existent hordes. We had the monsters. We had, you know, at pretty much anywhere I go, I'm fighting elites. Like pretty much anywhere I clap to in combat, there's elites on me or there's specials on me. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like I was just like walking through the map getting carried by my butts. Anyway, you guys can hopefully see that. Anyway, so I wanted to point out, okay, that's not like when I say like, oh, I did this last night. That's actually true. I have no reason to make that sort of stuff up. And, you know, as I say, I do record a decent chunk of my gameplay. Thank you, learner. I wasn't saying anything. Go on. Anyway, as I was saying, I do record a decent chunk of my gameplay. And, because, you know, I want to try to understand how I'm dying, whether, you know, whether things are like, because sometimes it's like something feels unfair, but on review you're actually like, oh no, okay, those are actually just like, that's just the way that works, you know.
A large chunk of Clan Fester are currently camped down in the ruins of Karak Knoll. Now, Skaven are paranoid little buggers, so you're going to sneak in, kill their warlord, and watch the chaos unfold. I'd love a full-scale civil war, but at the very least, I think we'll delay the work on the skip.
Yes, as I was saying, I discovered something very interesting last night, because I was genuinely, I was trying to do some more research into like true soloing maps, and it was like the videos that I could find were genuinely like there was nothing on the map. Like there were no enemies, there were no hordes, and it was like you could just kill the horde before any specials arrived, because it was like a spaghetti string of unarmored rats. And basically, people keep saying like, you know, I hear people say like, oh, that's just good players manipulating spawns, and I have literally read every word that has ever been published on the internet about this game's inner systems. You cannot manipulate spawns in this game like that. That's not how it works. So I'm sitting here just thinking like, okay, so why are the maps so empty? Like, why do there never elites with their hordes? You know, why is this, why is that? So I was doing even more reading last night about the inner systems. thinking like, is there something that I just don't miss or don't understand about intensity or how threat scales? Is there some way like just does keeping one gas rat alive genuinely reduce intensity? Now, I've always understood that leaving specials like gas rats and blightstormers can actually lower the intensity of your run. Primarily in the sense that they kill rats for you. Yeah, primarily in the sense that they kill rats for you, which means that basically large numbers of rats are dying without it raising the game's intensity, which affects how things spawn and how ads are how extra ads can be spawned into the map and interventions, all this sort of stuff. Anyway, basically, but that doesn't work unless you have a basically potato CPU, because enemies do not walk into gas on a good CPU. Like, they just don't do it. They don't walk into fire, and they don't stand in gas or fire. So a gas rat will kill, like, 8 slave rats. At the price of, like, causing all this really dangerous visual interference that can allow other specials to get closer and blah, blah, blah. But I was like, okay, are they just killing the horde faster than me? Is that why they always seem to have time to deal with specials while I just don't? And I'm like, I'm literally going to count how many enemies they kill. And it's just not as many. I mean, like, I counted every horde enemy. Every horde enemy. And I'm like, well, how are there just like fewer enemies in a horde? Isn't a horde a pre-programmed spawn? Sorry, I actually have to focus to play Kata. I have also tweaked the crap out of all my bots. And they're so much better now. Like, don't get me wrong, they don't kill stuff, but they debuff stuff, they stagger stuff, and they have enough stagger power to actually have good stagger breakpoints. Like, they will stagger a storm vermin out of an overhead rather than just kind of bouncing it around and then not doing anything about the overhead. So yeah, they stagger stuff, they debuff stuff, they put all kinds of like, so like every time the skeleton sets something on fire, that debuffs it. Oh, I'd actually have to look at the bots to fully understand what's going on in terms of their setups, but basically they are set up to... The Sienna bot especially is... Okay.
storm burning.
The game actually... So the game does punish you for going too fast, and it punishes you for killing too fast. But the thing is, in a true solo... okay, so right off the bat, I know exactly what is happening, basically. I was watching this Hordes, I was watching the gameplay, and I was like, okay, what would explain this? Why does the game look like this? Why is it different to my game? What would explain this? I spent like hours reading Reddit posts and so on, and all this, like, you know, nonsense from programmers and stuff about how the game works at like a fundamental level in terms of like the AI director, the spawning logic, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, that was a great sword foot knight on Kata going through a patrol with bot teammates. Courtesy of a conch pot that we didn't even really get to use because we also had a Rattling gun blasting us, and then we had a bunch of plague monks run at us from behind. Like, the shit that I am actually, like, not dying to on this build is crazy. But anyway. Oh, okay. Anyway, I was consistently watching the gameplay, and watching the actual combat gameplay, I was like, there's no difference. If anything, I'm better than some of these people. Like, my mechanics are just better, they're cleaner, I'm sorry. Like, I hate to say it. And then I'm like, okay, well, is it their pathing? Yes, I do tend to run through the map like an animal, but I also know when I'm doing that. And I know when I'm taking the game more seriously. And, like, I've watched enough true solos that at least on the simple maps, like, you know, I know where you can stand on against the grain. I know where you can stand on the screen build. You've seen me do it. It doesn't help. My hordes are so big. There's so many enemies. Like, they just drive you out of your kiting spot. Like, they full surround it. So you can't... You end up with enemies behind you anyway. Okay. how did none of the bots do anything about it? Anyway. Oh, that doesn't happen either, by the way. Like, people don't... Like, rattling guns don't spawn, but then, like, refuse to peek the player and wait around a corner, and then instantly open up when the player comes around the corner. That doesn't fucking happen. That's... Enemies acting stupid like that is just old CPU. But, okay, so what causes them to... Why do you get fewer enemies? And I know exactly what it is. It's frame rate. So, the game has a mechanic that essentially... When you first start the game, like if you go benchmark this game, you will actually see how the AI director, like if you go into the benchmarking system, the game will actually populate a map with ads, right, just stand. And will even render in some, like, random combat streams and stuff like that. Because all of that shit basically happens... Okay. So basically, here's the thing.
Well, I don't know what you mean, Sienna. Can't fight wounded.
Couple of bruises and a cracked nail, a wound
I'm
now.
afraid crack over Bruce's head. Stuck in a bar.
Oh, I should have saved that for the Horde. I don't know, man. Anyway, so basically what happens is if your PC can't sustain the frame rate that you set the game to, then that's totally cool. Why can I not, like, how is it? I can't even see the Storm Fiend. It's a whole boss and I can't see it. Like, I literally didn't know it was there until it started shooting at me. Again, I can't see it. So if you have a bad CPU, the Storm Fiend just kills the Horde for you. You don't even have to interact with the Horde. Because the Horde actually walk in the Storm Fiend's fire. Storm Fiend is not helpful if you actually have a good CPU. Anyway, so again, like, these are things that it's beyond debate now. I don't care. Like, if you tell me I'm wrong, I know for a fact you are lying because you do this on your game. Or you're just stupid and you don't... like, A, you can't visually tell the difference, which is like, okay, I'm sorry, bro, install fucking eyes because it's visually obvious. B, you can't count. Or C, you're too stupid to read like a 3-minute wiki article that literally explains exactly how your... basically what systems are bottlenecked. So here's what's bottlenecked if you set your frame rate higher than your GPU/CPU can actually handle. One, every time the game has to delete ambience in order to spawn new enemies. Let me say that again. The game has to delete ambience to spawn a fucking horde. There's nothing on the map. The map is fucking empty. That's why you can kite wherever you want. When there's a horde, it empties the map. So the horde also doesn't pull ambience. That's why the horde is just like this little piss wave of unarmored trash. And the visual and blatantly obvious tell is that the very first part of the horde wave is like scraggly and patchy. Do you know why it's scraggly and patchy? Because what is happening is that because your CPU can only... the enemy recycling system can only delete so many ads per frame. It's a pretty large number. It's like 6 ads per frame. Okay? It can delete 6 ads per frame when it's trying to respawn new enemies. So think about this. It's getting so bottlenecked without any obvious frame drop because I'm watching the gameplay. It's getting so bottlenecked without obvious frame drop that it actually cannot spawn in the enemies in the first wave of the horde. Do you know how that happens? If you're not having massive and obvious frame drop, the only way that can happen is if the game is literally deleting, and I am not fucking exaggerating here, something in the order of like 70 or 80 ads. It literally cleanses your map to spawn a horde. The horde can't pull anything and you can kite it wherever you want because there are no ambience anymore. Like, ambience and horde basically can't exist at the same time. That's it. That's the code. I cracked it. I literally explained it. That's how the internal systems work. The function is literally called enemy recycler. You can look it up yourself. It is utterly bottlenecked by frame rate, and the way to basically cheese it is to tell the game to run at higher frames than it can. Crank the shit out of your difficulty settings. Go back into your set the game with an inappropriate number of worker threads, so that it doesn't have enough CPU resources. Set it to use like your onboard graphics system. Don't tell it not to actually use your real GPU. And crank all the settings aside from those that limit and fuck with your gameplay. Crank all those settings up as high as you can. And what you will get is basically ad-free maps every time a horde spawns. Do you know how that makes true soloing comically easy? You walk into the first section of the map, you just kill any ads that you can visually see. You don't have to worry about anything else. Wait for the first horde. The first horde comes. It's almost all unarmored trash. You clear it effortlessly before any specials start spawning. By the way, everything basically spawns in one by one when you redo it. So this is why, like, their specials come in like, oh, here's a gas rat. And here's a Ratman gun. Oh, ouch. Oh my, an assassin. Whereas for me, it's like, oh my god, there's a Ratman gun, a gas rat, and an assassin, and all have just done their thing. Like, I know the gas rat is there because there is gas now, and then instantly a Ratling starts firing, and then whoosh, when I turn the corner, there's a fucking fire rat behind me. It all happens at once. Now, let me explain to you something. Okay, so once you set your game up like that, basically, because, okay, so now, all right, so right from the off, you get ad-free maps by just fucking with your graphical settings. There you go. Don't actually worry about being good at the game. The game is fucking comically easy if you play it like this. because pretty much all the RNG is taken away. As I say, the game is literally deleting ads to spawn Horde, and not a small amount. The visual evidence is obvious. Like I say, 6 ads per frame. Even if you had complete, like, visually, I know for a fact the people who are playing this game like this and who are getting these visual results, I'm not going to name their names, but you know who they are. You can go YouTube it right now, and you can look at that scraggly first front of the Horde. Remember, 6 ads per frame. Tell me, does it look like their game is getting like a choked frame rate? You tell me that. Does it genuinely look like when a Horde spawns? Does it look like they drop to like 10 frames per second? That's still 60 ads per second. And yet, it's deleting so many ads that even at a rate of 60 ads per... Visually, you would know if it were running at 10 FPS. Visually, on their stream, you would see it. The game would be stop motion. So it can't be dropping that low. So what, it's dropping to 30, 40? That might still look sort of smooth. That's like hundreds of ads. And yet it can't spawn a Horde because it can't delete the ads fast enough. But there isn't visual frame drop. So it literally is deleting, and this is just the math. I'm not making this shit up. It's literally deleting like 100 or more enemies. So there you go. But even setting that aside, it's this beautiful double whammy because, here's the thing. Now if your CPU is throttled, rats basically become stupid. They can't have pathing information. Only like 5 rats at a time, or like basically only the rats that are trying to slot, that are close enough to like start interacting with you, actually get pathing information. Everything else just follows the rats in front of them. When there's a Horde on your screen, enemies don't try. Like basically enemies have like a kind of intelligent script, and then they have a kind of brain dead script. And this depends on your CPU's resources, right? Because it's like having, it's like, okay, it's like something like The Sims, right? Where if you just keep adding Sims to a lot, the Sims will slowly start to get stupider. Because they use queued commands. Everything in this game uses queued commands, by the way. It's literally, like, it's not the same system, but the systems are comparable enough that when we talk about, like, the CPU load, it's a reasonable comparison. So they use queued command. Everything in this game uses queued commands. Like, this sword uses queued commands. So I know for a fact that that's how the enemies work. So what's happening is, like, it's going to do things like every couple of seconds, it's going to do some kind of, like, check. Ow. But yeah, it's going to do some kind of check every couple of seconds, where it's basically like, you know, can I get into slots with the player? No. Okay, how do I path to the player? And basically, it's asking your CPU to think for it, basically, like, to put it very simply. And if your CPU has the resources... Alright, let me put it this way. Do you notice how... like, okay, do you notice how, for example, assassins are smarter than Horde rats? That assassins are better at, like, moving around your crosshair, that sometimes they'll just hide behind a wall and try not to die. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you know assassins are, like, they seem to have a pretty, like, intelligent script. Well, and they have button reads, and the button reads are so aggressive that you can like make them jump off a cliff and blah blah blah. Okay, we all know that. Even on like a potato PC, assassins can genuinely be given those kinds of resources. Incidentally, that's also why assassins, like multi-assassin spawns, are not particularly scary on a potato PC. But as I was saying, it's very much like The Sims. And as I say, you can simulate this yourself if you want. Like if you have any of the Sim games installed. Okay.
I need a hand. Now. Are you with us, Grimdy?
Anyway, if you have any of the Sim games installed, basically just keep adding new Sims to a lot, and what you will see is eventually, like, the rate at which the Sims, like, cycle actions gets slower and slower and slower, and then what will actually happen is some Sims will essentially just never actually get a chance to perform actions.
Someone give me a feel. I'm gonna see another. Grabber, slay it. Your flame's still burning. Let's find it fuel.
Anyway, what will happen is you get to a point where like so many things are asking your CPU for like are querying are asking for, you know, some resource from your CPU. They're basically saying, CPU, what should I do? You know, CPU, give me resources to think with. You know, tell me what's around me, tell me this, tell me that.
Not a good sign. Stand well back.
Anyway, when you actually play this game on a good or properly optimized CPU, basically all enemies move like that. All enemies have button reads. All enemies prioritize living over hurting you, aside from slave rats. You can literally see it. Like, when I have an elite boxed in, they will literally go into their... like, they'll stand still for so long, refusing to interact with me, because they know that if they interact with me, they'll die. They have enough resources to make that determination. Even in the middle of a horde, elites can make that determination. And they will actually do nothing for so long that it will trigger their idle animation. You can literally see it. I have recordings of it happening, where storm vermin will just randomly like stop moving and use their idle pose animation, where they like stand with their spear butt in the ground holding it up. Assassins will go into their idle animation, where they're kind of like floating and just staying in one spot, because you just have them boxed in. They know that if they walk into you, they die. Same corner. But anyway, so basically, if your CPU is potato, bots will do things like the AI bots. I mean, the enemies will just walk into gas. They'll walk into Blightstormers, and you can leave gas rats and Blightstormers alive very safely because you can kite anywhere on your ambient free map. So it doesn't matter. You don't have to worry about it zoning you into a bunch of dangerous ambients because all the fucking ambients were deleted to spawn your horde. Like, this is what the game is a literal joke at that point. So then you let the gas rats and Blightstormers kill the horde for you, which means you kill the horde without actually raising the game's intensity, which means you basically get baby spawns for the rest of your run. It's that simple. But the whole thing only starts with you having a shit CPU. You literally cannot do it if you don't have a shit CPU. A Blightstormer, maybe, because the Blightstormer storm actually moves, and sometimes it will kind of trap the horde. But, like, on a good CPU, rats will go anywhere to get away from, like, fire and danger. They'll climb buildings, they'll fucking nav mesh teleport, like, they'll literally go anywhere. So things like gas are not even that advantageous, because they can also ask your CPU like what you can see and what you can't see. Your CPU has so many resources that enemies can even basically be like, oh, what are current LOS obstructions for the player in their current positioning? And they will actually play around the worst LOS obstructions. That's why something like, you know, a boss will always seem to be, like, in the lens flare. The specials are always, like, in the part of the gas where it's the most dense and you can't see anything. And then the assassin jumps through the, like, right somehow through the rattling fire without actually, like, getting burnt by the rattling fire. Like, it still pounces you. Shit like that does not happen on a potato PC, because nothing, like, it might happen if it was just the rattling and the assassin on the map, but if it was just the rattling and the assassin, I mean, not rattling, the fire rat. If it was just a fire rat and assassin on the map, who cares, because you just shoot them and push them. Like, you see what I'm saying? So the fact that everything becomes dumb when there is horde is, like, so unfair, like, unfairly beneficial to you, because that's the one moment when, like, the game should actually be hard. And basically all you have to do is just back dodge and mash light attack. Like, that's how you fight a horde as a true solo if you have your game rigged like this. Improperly optimized. Or you're just playing on, like, a complete potato. Is it for real? They're just not even gonna try to get... See him go idle? Because he wasn't going to walk into a headshot. So yeah, the game is like completely different when elites won't just like walk into damage, when specials don't just like, stand still with immobile heads in the open waiting for you to headshot them. When elites don't just like mindlessly path forward through the horde into your sword swings.
Rat, and this time with a flamethrower. Fire rat! I'll give you one for free! Back here! Give me a shot! Boat there to save the dwarf! Where the storm burning? I'm a bloody battering ram, that's what I am! Black one! Sneak rats! I spy a Sigma! Kill the vermin on me!
Oh yeah, aggro ranges are also shorter. So not only are there fewer ambients, but stuff like that basically doesn't happen.
That's a gas blast! For the bloody rights have I! Oh, slap that black rat! Storm vermin! Over here! Take your best shot! Go on, hit me harder! You hit man! Wobbles to look at you! The warrior rats, I'll have it! Building a car! Don't like that, do you, gas rat? Warrior rat! Big gun! That shield will not save you, that man!
Wrestling
Good pull on horse land! Where the storm vermin? Hey, come here, black rat!
But what I don't understand is
Black rat with shield, take it from the side! Stand clear! Don't float out foul poison! Gas rat! Strangler's dead!
But you see what I mean when I talk about specials, like it all happens at once? Now,
Warrior rats,
that could actually be... You two, off you go. Bye-bye. Now, that could also be determined by things like intensity. I don't fully understand what intensity does, by the way. But it does kind of sound like it could be governing how close spawns are to each other. You know what I'm saying? It could also have to do with, like, in a sense, how smart the enemies play. It could be due to the intensity of the CPU resources that they're drawing on in order to, like, attack and path and everything else. Maybe that's what determines the rats when they start doing, like, really diabolical shit to, like, fuck with you and surround you, like, hiding behind shields and, just, like, all this really horrible shit.
come on then, you blackbird bastard! Extraordinary, please down!
And we really kind of don't want the smoke with that patrol if we can avoid it.
Bloody black rats! You want to talk outside?
Oh, that's the patrol. Anyway, the bottom line is, if rats won't path into gas for you, which that's not a choice you make, you can't force them to do it, and you can't force the gas rats to throw gas bombs in like onto the horde. So either something about the way your PC or your graphical settings or your CPU or whatever, something about your game means that you can wipe a horde with a gas rat, then you have a very easy path to manipulating spawns on a true solo run. And if you want, you can further tweak your spawns by basically just deliberately throttling your frame rate. And again, this isn't... I try to like force my bots to come after me.
Shield rat, check your swing. Black one. Here, that's a swing. Over here. Is that all you've got? You must have more. Bloody black rats. Still here? Just take a swing.
So, you know when people talk about things like horde density and elite density and special density and stuff like that, as far as I can see, that is a function of like CPU usage in the sense that basically
Come on then, you blackbird bastard.
the more enemies that can behave intelligently at any one time, the more enemies will attempt to basically mitigate damage against them, avoid damage, and like not necessarily hide from player attacks because some
Got rat. We're all good, mates. Fire rat's dead. Strangler's dead. Gas rat. Close lava coming in. Gas rat's dead. It's going to blow. Time. We kill the warlord, then get out, yeah? That storm vermin's mine. The Packmaster's done for. Yeah, assassin, I'm ready for you. So much for that assassin.
but yeah, the only way to actually hold on just a second. Okay, pardon me. So the only way to actually manipulate spawns in this game, other than essentially cheating by using spawn tweaks or you know, I mean, okay, playing on a crappy PC is not cheating, but like bottlenecking your PC deliberately is. Although I think a lot of people do that without even realizing it because of things like setting up worker threads in the launcher. Okay, yeah, thank you, skeletons, thank you, fire. And
Bloody black rat.
but yeah, silent assassin waiting behind the fire rat.
Bombardiers down. The cold hands and bloody Sigma. Hard rat.
Like,
Just a second, Sienna.
realistically, Kata with bots should be considerably should honestly not be that much different difficulty-wise, to doing like Legend solo. Like, obviously, there's a considerable difference in terms of
Easy pickings for you. Only a trophy. Fine. You've learned something from me after all.
Can't keep going!
Sienna's down. Shield rack. Take your swing.
You look better there.
There we go. One less practice. Shall I tend your wounds? You keep banning the enemy. Yes? Warrior rats. Look, a warrior rat.
let me put it this way. It is very, very, very easy to hit. Basically, look, even on Kata, it's easy to have a build that allows you to just mindlessly button mash through like 70% of the content. Even on Kata. On Legend, you can have a build that like you literally just left click everything. Where you safe stagger every single elite, where you
Anarchy's thirsty work.
you have good horde clear, good boss damage. You have a ranged weapon that has, you know, great range one-shot breakpoints, not just on specials, but also on elites that won't need to headshot anything. Like, this is mechanically the truth about Legend. Like, Legend gameplay is not really that mechanically demanding. Outside of managing ambience. That's it. Because there are no fucking elites on, like, there are no elites with Legend hordes. It's just trash. And Legend trash is, like, pure slave rat trash when you're literally solo is dangerous. Especially if they have a lot of space to try to surround you. But most trash is not particularly dangerous. Unless you just don't have the weapon for it, don't have the kit for it. Even solo. Trash is mostly just free temp health. And if you have the patience, the game actually weirdly becomes easier if you use weaker weapons that control enemies rather than... and also, but man, look at these bots popping off, finally actually doing some shit. The Sienna bot is the only one that, like, actually, you know, kind of scales in terms of it. Although, 339 on the Ironbreaker, look at my boy, look at him go. And taking, like, no damage, just freaking Ironbreaker shit. He can't. And them all reviving each other. Like, good lads. Anyway, so I'll show you this build because and I'll show you how I have my bots finally set up for Kata. I'm actually using a Foot Knight bot, if you can believe it. So this is my Foot Knight bot, and I basically came to the conclusion that him just staggering everything not dying, consistently getting bulwark procs on an enemy, him giving someone comrades in arms, even if it's not me, and him giving a cooldown reduction for the team is basically more valuable than Mercenary Kruber, who is more likely to die, who, yes, he gives you pretty much guaranteed uptime on Strike Together, which is very nice, but your bots don't really use it. It's only there. It's basically only beneficial for you. Because the bots don't attack enough for that attack speed to really be super beneficial. And the downside is Mercenary Kruber will die more. And also, because he doesn't have comrades in arms, and because you can't really build him around, like, you can't trust the bot to use something like Reichland Reaper or something, to like hit one-shot breakpoints and stagger breakpoints. You know what I'm saying? The bots aren't smart enough to play around stuff like that. But this guy with comrades in arms, he's really good with his handgun. He hits all the relevant breakpoints. We have Scrounger on just because bots don't headshot, so it gives them some economy. It might even be better to put Hunter or something on it, but either way, look, they crit and they get a couple of bullets back. A couple of bullets is potentially a couple of specials. That's really what I want them shooting at anyway. So yeah, I judge that this would be more valuable than what Kruber does, and weirdly, it is. He barely ults, which is weird, but it also doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. The value of Bulwark, of Comrades in Arms, of Inspiring Blow, and just the value of him staggering the crap out of everything with this Sphere and Shield, with Opportunist and Staggering Force. Like, he just puts out so much stagger. And then because the bot has so much stagger, like, weirdly enough, this guy can actually do more damage than Mercenary Kruber as a bot on Kata, just because there are a lot of positions where I suspect what's happening is the Mercenary Kruber bot is turtling up because he doesn't have a safe opportunity to do damage. And is like consequently just blocking. Hold on just a moment. Pardon me. I need to grab something. I'll be back in just a second. All right, pardon me. Anyway, so it sounds like I'm super tilted about this whole thing, but actually I feel really good about it, because it's like, look, if someone else's game is easier, that's fine. I don't want people to think that they're bad at the game because they're playing quote unquote an easier game. That's not true. As my own gameplay has demonstrated, just existing in a Vermintide map, even on fucking Recruit, for 20 minutes and not getting hooked, pounced, caught by a leech, or just eating some random Hail Mary overhead takes crazy skill. Is it easier if you can clear the horde faster? I think yes, very, very, very much easier. Is it easier if the map is basically ad-free? I would say yes, very, very, very much easier. Easier, I don't know how to explain it. It's basically, it makes the runs more winnable. Like, just functionally more winnable. It doesn't necessarily mean that, like, you don't need the same mechanics to play them, or that you can play them while being a potato, or that or that it isn't like a serious challenge to your gameplay. Especially when you start doing it with like less than optimal weapons and stuff like that. But the point I'm trying to make is basically like, you know, I'm not saying that people who play Vermintide on a bad PC are bad. What I'm saying is that basically I don't want to be judged because like I can't just like get out and like slap my way through a true solo. And again, it's because it is literally a different game. And if you want to tell me that I'm bad compared to someone who is playing gameplay of that intensity, and I'm just going to remind you, like I had literal video footage of me being rushed by 16 plague monks instantly on the first drop down of the map and killing every single one of them, taking almost no damage. 16 plague monks in about 10 seconds. That was literally my hello to Fort Braxenbrooker on a just normal ass legend run. That shit is not unusual to have elites of that density, and they get pulled in with hordes. Hordes are not just a wave of unarmored trash, and I can't just go anywhere on the map to get away from the hordes because there are more elites all over the map, and there's so many of them all over the map that I can't realistically clear all the ads before moving on. That's not, like, if I legitimately tried to kill every ad, I would have, like, so many thousands of kills. Like, I would have, like, fucking 2,000 kills or something at the end, or it would be, if I could even finish the run, it would be insane. It would take me, like, 40 minutes to clear a legend map. But it's like, you know, I watch someone who will clear the map as quickly solo as I am clearing it with bots. Same speed. And end with, like, not many more kills than I have clearing it solo when the bots collectively also have as many kills as me. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, we're genuinely talking about almost twice as many enemies if you actually add it all up. And people will say, oh, it's because of spawn manipulation, and I'm just going to reiterate, okay, the only way to prevent hordes spawning on Legend is to have what the game calls essentially a threat level, which is higher than 60. People will say, oh, well, you leave a Blightstormer up because it raises your threat level. A Blightstormer is worth 10 threat. 6 Blightstormers can prevent a horde from spawning. You can't even have 6 Blightstormers. Right? 3 Blightstormers and 3 Storms, yes, the Storm also counts as 10. But the Storm comes and goes. And if you don't have a potato PC, the game can actually, you know, spawn more shit in the interim. But it doesn't. The point of it is like, yeah, you need like a Blightstormer and 30 normal ads. Like, you cannot have just enough specials on the map unless you get some godlike luck and you get like 2 Blightstormers, 2 Gas Rats. Even then, you would still need to have some random ambience aggroed and just be kiting them permanently to stop a horde spawning. Like, it's just not how the game works. You can't, like, the only way to stop horde spawning in this game without throttling your PC and throttling your graphics is, to manipulate spawns, is to kite, is to not play the game, is to actually use skips and speedrun strats and actively kite and not fight enemies. Even then, the game has stuff called rush intervention and stuff like that. You have to deal with all that. It's a completely different gameplay style. It's not about combat. It's about pathing and skips and teleports and movement and all this sort of stuff. Completely different gameplay. But that's the only way to manipulate spawns if you're actually playing legit. There is no other fucking way. Yes, leaving a Blightstormer alive and the Blight... Yes. If your CPU is shit, if rats will just walk into the storm and die by their hundreds, same with gas, then that does help manipulate spawns because it kills stuff without raising intensity. But again, you can't fucking do that unless you're playing on a potato. This is just not how the game works. Rats don't just walk by their dozens and their hundreds into gas and storms. So there's no reason to leave gas rats and blightstormers alive. Also, if you have a good CPU, enemies will use storms and gas as cover. And it will cause hordes to spread out more because they'll path around it, which means they pull more aggro. And because you're not playing with throttle graphics, there are actually ambients on your map. So you don't want the horde spreading out, and you can't kite wherever you want to get away from gas and stormers because there are actually enemies on your map. It's a completely different game. So all these cheese strats that people talk about, they don't even fucking work if you play the game on a legit PC, like a modern hardware. They don't even work. Anyway, I'm crazy yapping because I need to smoke, but I wanted to talk more about like the setup on these bots. I might as well babble about it since I'm waiting for something. And I know this has been such an uneventful stream. But this is the setup I have for... he shouldn't actually... Oh wait, no, he has that because I don't bring him and Foot Knight at the same time. And if I do bring him and Foot Knight at the same time, I swap something around. I give one of them enhanced power. I think I give this guy enhanced power because it actually helps with the... So yeah, if you don't have the Foot Knight with Bulwark, definitely give this guy Bulwark. If not, give him enhanced power because it helps with his special sniping. And yeah, other than that, this guy is just an alt bot. And as you can see, alt bot and special sniper, but he does actually kill shit with this axe. Especially, he's really good at killing armored elites. And the Kruber's not bad with the spear and shield. So the other bots that I use on counter are the Necro and the Warrior Priest and Handmaiden, so I'll show you the builds on them. And everything here has been done in the sense of like, do they use it, basically. Okay, I'll be back in just one moment. Alright, pardon me. Terrible AFK-ness. But yes, as I was saying. So this is how I have the Necromancer set up. Basically, I'm not entirely certain about the... I have to research the breakpoints, but for now it's working okay, so we just... This, because bots like simple brain-dead weapons that you can just light spam, they don't use like crowd control sweeps and stuff like that properly anyway, so just giving them something like that can just kill an elite in their face while they push horde is It's what they want, basically, and it's what they will get value from. Also, let them kill armored specials and stuff like that if they do run up to them, because they love that. But the main reason is she shoots a lot, so we give her this. So she's going to be having some ranged AoE. She's going to be setting everything on fire and hopefully proccing Hunter a bunch, which is going to buff our damage and then further buff our damage because of the fire. Although I don't know if those two things stack. I should probably look it up. 10 pelt doesn't really matter for the bot. This, because again, she casts spells a lot. This, because she casts spells a lot. This, just because it's something that does something. Basically, the bots... I mean, look, this could be useful. I don't know. It's tough to say. This obviously is irrelevant because the bot won't use it. But this has definitely been somewhat helpful. It's really helpful, even just for the player, to like get a guaranteed crit. Very nice for like swift slaying and stuff. But yeah, maybe this, because the skeletons do set everything on fire, which is very helpful. But yeah, and then we use this, which actually gives her like surprisingly decent tankiness. And this is pretty much where most of her damage and utility comes from. It's a double-edged sword because the skeletons are terrible for visibility. They stagger stuff to bejesus in this weird way that like doesn't stop them attacking, but it's just like these kind of micro staggers that make it almost impossible to headshot them. So that's fun. But they do a lot of damage. They just do a lot of freaking damage. And because they set everything on fire, they also give them that damage vulnerability. So, you know, she's one of the only bots that actually brings some real, like, horde clear utility to the table. So, yeah. And then this is the Soulspire bot, you know, basically the same kind of logic here. And we actually give him Swift Slaying. Basically because the bots like... Okay, so the bots will not spam charge attacks, but the bots do love killing elites. And if you give them a weapon that can kill elites... particularly with just like brain dead light spam, which both these weapons can, then, you know, this guy should be getting a decent amount of critical strike, because it lasts for 12 freaking seconds, which is crazy. He only needs to kill like one storm vermin and then he's doubled his crit strike chance, which means a lot more uptime of Swift Slaying. And I at least I thought that would potentially be useful. The other thing I could probably do is try alt refund on crit or something like that. But I haven't really tried that. Anyway, so this guy is mostly just a bot to bring his ult and Fury. So again, you know, second wind just to live. This for the crit chance and Swift Slaying. This for stagger. This basically because we just want, like, this is obviously better, but the bot doesn't kill anything, so it's, who cares, right? This, he'll get Fury off your kills when you blender a horde, which means then it will restore his shield, so it's good. And then, yeah, I think actually I should have the stagger power, but honestly, on Kata especially, monsters are so tanky that, like, this is actually kind of really meaningful, especially because, you know, it's not just a 15% damage increase. If you can get a nice moment where like there's 2 or 3 people just like attacking a monster, you know, it's 15% on each of them, which, you know, that's actually like a 50% damage bonus. And then when you start getting multiple people attacking the monster, it actually starts melting pretty quick and is super helpful. And then, yeah, this for the heals and the rares. I don't know that he really uses it, and I think honestly, maybe this could even be better. But it doesn't matter. He's been doing fine for now. If I get to, because I'll eventually get to harder maps, and then and then I'll probably start looking at breakpoints and trying to get everything perfect. And this was how I had the Waystalker set up. The Handmaiden set up, but the Handmaiden. I haven't been able to get the Handmaiden to like really kill stuff. And that could be just because I don't have the right weapons. Like, I don't have an axe for a... Actually, hold on. Let's do the pit. I am expecting to lose. But I want to show the Foot Knight bot at the very least. Just, the fact that he doesn't ult and stuff, I want that to be, like, visible on stream. And then I'd probably wrap it up after this one. But we'll see. I think I have to go pick up some furniture or something today, which sucks. Not how I was planning to spend
If it doesn't, you ain't been paying attention.
the weekend.
My contacts reckon it started in the pit, the town's poorest district. So do me a solid and get it stopped, would you?
The dark gods reach out for Bergenhafen. We shall see that they are thwarted. No mystery would plague oozes out of a slum. Still, can't hurt to ask a few questions of this Black Hook gang.
Had to go AFK there for a moment because I forgot to take my meds this morning, so I had to just eat one. So if you want to hit heads, particularly of Skaven, like consistently with the greatsword, it's this motion, by the way. It's like an ellipse, like that. Why does that matter? Because basically, you're forcing their hitbox to kind of squash. And then they can't duck under it. I know that sounds... But trust me, it's true. Sorry, my phone keeps buzzing, and when I look at it, it's like silly and pointless notifications. But yeah, so use that ellipse movement. You see what I'm saying? Did you see the way he tried to wobble around it and then just got boxed in? Get good with this ellipse movement. And greatsword will be great for you. You will just hit all headshots. Ooh. Okay, I messed that up. So basically, against Skaven, it's like you want to bring your crosshair down on top of their head. It doesn't work on Plague this way. Come on! Whee. I can't hit heads from this angle. It's okay. Right here, we're just trying to not die. This is a good spot. It's actually not. If we get gas or something, we're in hot poo, but... Speaking of gas, and of course he has a rattling fucking peels for him. You see how that assassin eventually just stopped moving because I didn't give him anywhere to move and then jumped into my cross? Like, I'm telling you, I don't see people do this mechanical stuff. You see what I'm saying? I've seen some people do a little bit of it. But yeah, I don't know, man. But yeah, look at my bots. Look at them go. Be little bots. Yeah, go on, Bottom. Give him one for free. No! Leave Brittany alone! Yeah, look at all the dead rats in the gas. Wow, it's almost like they don't go in the gas. Almost like gas isn't helpful. This is Kata, by the way.
Should you have a cab?
Take the freaking ammo, Kruger. Do it. Behave yourself.
Another dead weapon rat.
Assassin, bring him down! Nothing done!
That shield will not save you, that man. Watch your back, gutter runners.
He jumps literally directly where he will force me to 180. Like when he can't jump, like when he can't pounce me, he tries to pounce behind me and then like, you know, so if he had actually insta-pounced, he would have just ping-ponged onto me. This is also why, like, you can go to any random Vermintide forum and you can see people saying, like, assassins are bullshit, and then other people will say, like, nah, assassins are easy. And it's like, if you find assassins easy, either you are legitimately, like, like Choco Telepots level, like, freak, mechanic freak gamer, like, genuine, crazy level of gameplay. Not top 1%, by the way. You're, like, top... You know, like top 0.3%. Because it's not about the mechanics. Like, look, I can hit the shot. You know, we can all hit the shot if we have at least, like, basic mouse control. The question is, under what conditions can you hit the shot? How much pressure can you hit the shot when you're under? Can you hit the shot when there's rattlings blasting, hordes screaming in your face, when you have, you know, when you only have one shot, when you will literally lose the game if you miss. So, maximum pressure, smallest opportunity window. If you're the kind of player who, like, always hits those kinds of shots, look. He'll literally just leave. Because he refuses to interact with my crosshair. I solo horde in here on Legend with a great sword. So with bots, it should be doable on Kata. This shield guy is just an asshole. So enemy density is also determined by the, let's call it the intelligence of your mobs. Notice the Plague Monks wouldn't run at me one at a time. They waited until there was a mob and they all charged together. Because if they ran into my sword one at a time, they would have died one at a time. Enemies will not die one at a time unless you're playing on a potato PC. This is just not how this game works. They're smarter than that. I think that's like maybe the first time this morning that I've had just a special walk into me in, you know, kind of like an otherwise empty elite free map that wasn't, you know, like a rattling waiting around a corner to set a trap that was going to pin me down while more special spawned or something. You know what I'm saying? It was like the first time I had like an easy special spawn. I could be wrong. Could have happened more than that. Could be confirmation bias, but we'll see. Look at him, he's running. How often do you see rattling guns run? See how he climbs to try to get away from my crosshair? Because he realizes he's literally stuck in a choke. See how he climbs away rather than coming towards me? He's looking for another path. If I just keep doing this, he'll just stay there forever. I've literally done it.
We've got gas incoming. Gas rat! Stinking gas rat! Die and be gone!
So, you know, you tell me harmless specials, when the specials are smart enough to basically play their life and just be like a, you know, a force in being that you just have to like constantly be allocating mental resources to like, okay, where is it? What problems can it cause me? Where is it? Like, you know, where should I hold that's safe with this on the map? Oh, now there's another special. Is the combination of these two things a problem? Oh, actually it is. Now it needs to die. Oh, now I can't kill it because it's hiding behind a wall. Like, do you see what I'm saying? When enemies are actually smart, this game is like so much harder. It's diabolically harder. It's not even the same game. That was a very non-existent wave, though. I think it's because of the skeletons. Even on Kata, if the skeletons get stuff in a choke, okay, we need to go. What is this density? This is insane. But honestly, I would get bored playing the game that way. Like, I'm sorry. Even when I played on a potato PC, I never had that spaghetti horde bullshit. I just had dumb enemies. Like, the enemies weren't smart. They weren't good at, like, avoiding my crosshair or setting traps and... But it wasn't like I was getting massive frame drop and, you know, emptying the map of ads. I still had dense, aggressive, you know, maps. That blur effect was hideous. Oh, this is so dangerous. I can't see anything. Oh, I didn't actually show the Foot Knight build that I did the Kata run with. But I find that Foot Knight build is very fun on Kata. Even with people, it's...
Snake rat! It's only a bloody ragged isn't it? Not seen a bomb.
Okay.
Going to help not. Lucky bloody me. Beware, a rat shield draws nigh. My Sigma, a rat shield. A walk bar thrower. I like him. What's this? My Sigma, the hammer, and the empire! Fire that! No more fire.
He pounced behind me 180 and then pounced me from behind. Silent, untaggable Blightstormer.
strangler back and kill him.
Now this has been a weird spaghetti stringing horde. I wonder if the skeletons are causing bottlenecking on my frame rate. I don't know, those specials are still spawning in packs, so...
Ammunition. Little scar, Zungi. You look rakish. Time to put a loft, Dory. With some speed, I reckon.
Yeah, I don't know that I want to smoke with the Chaos Warriors while being shot by this Ratling that actually does a pretty decent amount of damage on Kata. I think we just want to see the victory screen. I think I earned it. I'm a screw. So yeah, we have all fled away in terror. I need the white, the purified thing for Necromancer. I just don't like playing Necromancer. She has too many buttons. I don't really like playing Sienna, period. I don't like her melees. They don't feel good, they don't feel impactful. I should probably get it for Ironbreaker too. Although maybe I already have Ironbreaker. Let me check. Maybe I just took it off because I didn't like the way it looked. Ironbreaker just looks like a metal potato. That must have been faster because I got fewer kills than with the Foot Knight. Or maybe the Foot Knight was just better at... No, it must have been faster. That was pretty brisk, to be honest. But the Sienna still got 400 kills. I had like 70 elite kills or something on Foot Knight, didn't I? And 1,000 trash kills. Maybe we just got one more horde. But yeah, so... You know, you can't hit all headshots just because of the arc of the greatsword. But I'm telling you, the ellipse, like... So, this is one of the reasons why, A, you use this rather than this. This is just better, trust me. There are times when you will want to use this, which is usually like... Let's say there's a shielded enemy there, and or a boss, and the horde is on that side of the boss. Then, like, you want to tap once with the light attack on that side, and then go in with the heavy sweep on that side. But everything else, your cleave goes straight through it, so don't worry about it. And to be honest, you want to be hitting, unless it's a shield, you want to be hitting the tankiest thing first. You want them to be taking the most damage. You want to be hitting the head of the tankiest thing first. You don't necessarily want to be hitting the head of the trash rats, because the trash rats will just die anyway. And the trash rats will also get staggered even with a body shot, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, trust me, if you want to get good with Greatsword, it's you want to basically be you want to constantly be spamming heavy, and you want to be animation cancer. I don't know why, I just can't do it now. But I think it's because it's so tied into how I react to enemies that just like doing it here is like in like a performative way is hard, yeah. But yeah, just alright, now I got a little bit of a rhythm. Just spam that heavy one, trust me. And build however you got to build to be able to do it. If that means you have to push first, if it means you have to, and then you're getting this like flick, and then you like drag. You see what I'm saying? Like you could get to the point where like it's just a lightsaber. Like some of the builds that I keep up with in terms of like the amount of kills I get is crazy. Like the explosion staff, you know, Sienna, like infinite cleave. Literal infinite cleave. Not like the greatsword just has a lot of cleave. Like actual infinite cleave. Pardon me. Slow gameplay stream, but decent. We're going to go back to the solos. But here's the thing. I'm going to have to find my own meta. That's just the truth of it. Unless I can find someone who streams and it looks like... Look, here's the thing. Because if I find someone who streams and they're like, you know, Choco or teleports or something, where it's like the intensity seems about right, but it's just like the way they play, I can't mirror their gameplay. It's too good. And it's like the positioning is enabled by the gameplay, so I can't necessarily mirror their positioning, but I've got to figure something out, basically. Like, because I can't just look at like the classic, like go to just YouTube and just type against the grain true solo or something, and then just say, okay, this is how I'm going to do this. I've tried it a lot, and I felt like it was different when I was doing it. Everyone thinks that. Like, everyone thinks like, okay, oh, I'm in bronze, but my teammates are really bad. My teammates are actually the reason I can't. You know what I'm saying? I understand that. Everyone thinks that. This is why I'm not a player like that who makes those things. I will count. I will review. I will look side by side video footage. I actually, you know, put the feeling to the test. And if it's wrong, I want to be wrong. That's the thing. Because when it's wrong, when it's like, when you're like, oh, I'm just like, let me say, I'm just losing because I can't aim. I just can't aim. I just don't hit shots. Well, now it's like, okay, just go learn to aim. It's not hard. It's just a skill. Cultivate it. And even in 20 hours, you'll feel so much better with your gameplay. Like you'll be like, holy crap, I didn't know it could be this easy. I didn't know it could be this fun. So it's like learning that you suck is kind of what you're hoping for. Like what you don't actually hope for is to be like, okay, well, what am I doing wrong? Because I've tried it. I've gone, like, people will just say like, oh, just use gas rats. I'm like, okay, how do I use the gas rats? Like, you tell me. And they're like, oh, well, you just let them kill the horde. And I'm like, okay, but the horde doesn't walk into the gas. So is there a trick to make them walk in? No, the horde just goes into the gas. No, it doesn't. Yeah, it does. No. I have video footage. It doesn't. I'm sorry, it doesn't. Your game and my game are different. And it's, again, not in my head, video footage. And when I say, okay, well, how do you explain that video footage? How can I? That's so crazy. How is my game different to your guys? It's the same fucking game. Go look up the internal systems. Go look up enemy recycler. Go look up, go look up threat and intensity. So basically, the combination of those three things, threat, intensity, enemy recycler, and then consider also the fact that enemies basically just move like shit. Like, you just saw that Rattling gun go full sprint. Like, I didn't even know. I watched hundreds of hours of Vermintide. Like, I on my own and played 900 hours of Vermintide on my old PC. I did not know Rattling guns could sprint. I didn't even know they had a sprint animation. I'd never seen it. Now, specials sprint. Warp fire throwers chase you. You can't get away from them. You can't kite them. They sprint. They catch up to you. Rattling guns do the same thing. They push up, they take space, they're aggressive. They hide from you, they peek, they know what you can see, they know what your FOV covers, they know what hides them, and they know what gives them a safe peek in terms of like where they can aim punch you and fuck you and you can't really shoot them. They will open fire from behind shields, from behind armor. So not only are they behind a wall, but there's shields and armor along that wall. So now it's like, people just hold a choke. Oh yeah, okay, how do I hold a choke when that happens? Oh, the Rattling gun will kill the horde. No, it won't. It will kill the horde that is in the choke, and then you know what happens? The horde stands still and stops moving into the choke, while the Rattling gun continues to shoot, while more specials spawn. Again, this is all video. This is just how the game works when you have a good PC, when you have it properly optimized, when you have it set to a frame rate that, that never drops. So whether it's 60 FPS, whether it's 120 FPS, you're telling the game to run at the frame rate that your PC can actually handle, so you never have frame drop. And also, your PC can populate the map. You've benchmarked the game properly with, you've assigned the correct number of worker threads, etc., 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 and you're not running 50 programs in the background, blah, 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 I don't know, whatever, or playing on a laptop or something, where there's just no CPU resources, so and enemies just can't think and can't do anything and don't make any kind of like decisions, or, you know what I'm saying? They just kind of like hobble around in the open and then just kind of come at the person in a straight line. Anyway, I'm yapping my head off. I'm like super hyped up now for some reason, and I kind of want to play more. I might try one more. All right, hold on. What's a map that's like? This one would be spicy as hell on Kata. I think this one will roll me on Kata, to be honest. Oh, actually, you know what I didn't do? Okay, so this is what I'll just quickly babble about this. So this was the build. I think I might have very quickly shown it, but this is basically the build that I've settled on playing Legend or Kata Foot Knight. Yeah, I don't care about crit chance on the Greatsword. I could have block cost reduction, but stamina. Look, here's the thing, okay? So, if it's a choice between 30% block cost reduction or 2 stamina, either or, the block cost reduction is a better defensive stat that will typically also translate into you having more stamina, typically, because it will, it means if an enemy just light attacks you, you don't lose all your stamina. You still have stamina to push and blah, blah, blah. But, okay, so this guy has enhanced power, comrades, and arms, so he has a considerable amount of power, and he also has opportunist on his sword. Basically, this guy is not getting hit by anything less than like a Chaos Warrior or enemies with shields. You just stagger everything. Unless there's like massive elite density, like a full patrol of Storm Vermin. Even then, you can, if you have them corralled tightly and there's no shields, you can control them almost entirely with pushes, even on Kata. So, basically, you shouldn't really be blocking. And if you have to block a little bit, like against a monster, you still have block cost reduction. And you have a lot of stamina shields. So the combination of more stamina shields plus it's harder for the enemy to get rid of them actually gives you a lot of defense. But also having extra stamina shields, really good, because A, yes, you push to control elites, but also such as you have elite damage, you don't have a lot of it, and particularly boss damage, a lot of it comes from that push attack with the greatsword. So being able to spam that is nice. But you couldn't have +2 stamina, whatever. You don't have to have that. You can have whatever you want. I just don't bother with crit chance because I don't have swift slaying and I don't care about crits. So yeah, this is really good. It controls all elites. It controls the horde. It controls everything. You just spam these heavies. You throw in a push. The 15% grace, the 15% speed from crowd clearer by itself is enough. Combined with like just spam a couple of pushes to like double stun the horde rats in front of you, and then just go into this on kata, even mixed hordes. It controls it all. It's super safe. It just does the job. It takes a little bit of time to kill. And that's when you can start spamming in those ults. Start getting out the attacks even faster. You could go for battering ram if you prefer it. If you prefer, being able to stagger the big guys. It's really down to you. It's personal choice at that point. And then obviously because you're constantly staggering elite enemies, because the one thing the Greatsword does, and the Greatsword is amazing at this, the Greatsword will fight 5 Storm Vermin at once, keep all 5 safely staggered, and slowly kill all 5. Do you know how much fucking cooldown reduction you beat out of 5 Storm Vermin with this thing? It's wild. Your team will love you if you play this guy. Just because of this. Your team will absolutely... If they anywhere near you, you will be the most popular person on the server if you play this guy. Because A, you have Comrade in Arms, and B, you have Inspiring Blow with just comically massive amounts of stagger. But you're not just like a feeble, weak baby stagger knight that dies to slave rats because you have a fucking mason shield and you have to kill them one at a time. You actually have a greatsword and it claps. And you just saw me clear Kata with bots playing with this. So people who say you can't play DPS Foot Knight on Kata, no, you can just get good with greatsword. Greatsword is the answer to all problems. It literally has great in the name. Boss damage will stink, yes. One Eye will stink hideously. But, like, you're a Foot Knight. You were never going to have Kata boss damage. Forget it. Like, what are you going to do? Bring a repeater with Hunter? This shit bounces off them. They don't care on Kata. That's nothing. Like, boss damage on Kata is, like, Shay. Or, I don't know, Bounty Hunter with a Conk bot? Like, if you do, even with double shotted, you're maybe... You know what I'm saying? Like, it's Bounty Hunter is not doing that much boss damage on Kata, even if you are consistently hitting headshots. But anyway, that's the Foot Knight build. This is the Witch Hunter Captain build, which I know I've shown it before, but I have tweaked it a little bit. So we have even more crit chance, we have more attack speed, we do have Swift Slaying on this guy because he has those much more consistent crits, so the uptime on it is huge. Also, he just does not have the stagger potential of the Foot Knight, so the value of opportunities is not quite there. You want to kill shit faster. I've gone over to the crossbow. I used to use brace of pistols, but on Kata, I find I actually do headshot enough with the crossbow that it just has ammo economy that the brace of pistols does not fucking have. Yes, the brace of pistols can save you from a hook rat. You can like shoot it 7 fucking times to get it through a horde or something, but brace of pistols almost certainly better as a solo, but if you sometimes just need to like pick a gun rat for your team with the bots, the crossbow is better. So I'm running the crossbow. It's also less ammo. Yeah, hungry. This is the big difference, is I don't have any block cost reduction on Witch Hunter Captain because basically dodge overheads, don't get overheaded. It's that simple. Like if I get 30% block roster, I can block 1 overhead. Okay, cool. I don't care. Just block the overheads, just dodge the overheads. You have extra dodge range. So, just do it. I think with +2 stamina, you can actually block 1 overhead anyway. It will put you into your parry animation, but it won't stun you. Now, the main reason why you would want some block cost reduction, I don't know why I have concoction, but whatever. I think that's because of solo. But anyway, the main reason why you would have some block cost reduction is for things like monsters or something. But just look at stuff that's attacking you and block. 90% of the attacks that you get hit by are light attacks anyway, and all of that is block free, and you have extra stamina to block heavies. So what happens is like half the time when you think an overhead has broken your block, it's like a light attack hits you and then a heavy attack hits you. And it's the double whammy
So now the over, you know what I'm saying? So this guy, you don't need that much block cost reduction. Trust me, especially if you're generally going to be trying to dodge overheads. But it gives you enough to block, like, enough. You have enough stamina to like block the occasional monster shot, to block like one overhead if you have to. And getting block cost reduction isn't going to give you much more of that. But the main difference is having stamina here. So having stamina here allows you to throw away Castaway and still have enough stamina to control hordes, and then it means you get extra dodge range. So in combination, you are much safer. So you still have decent horde control, and now you actually have decent dodge range, which makes you safer against monsters, and it means you don't get hit by overheads. But you can still block one if you have to. So you get a little bit of everything, and that's kind of what you need. That's sort of solo-oriented, but I played it with teams, and it's good. Build-wise, it's pretty standard stuff. I should have Execute is more for solo. Maybe I'm Kata, though, because of the sheer amount of stuff you kill. Enhanced Power, I've found even Assassin, it maybe against Chaos Warriors and bosses, you probably notice the damage bonus. But against most elites, I find it just doesn't matter. You just cut their heads off with Killing Blow. And you kill them with headshots anyway, just because this guy gets an innate bonus headshot damage, and I'm pretty sure that's multiplicative with Enhanced Power, but not multiplicative with Assassin. So Assassin looks like it gives you a crap ton more, but trust me, it's not that big a deal. This also helps you hit range breakpoints. It also helps you have more stagger against the horde, and blah, blah, blah. Just generally keeps you safer and so on. This is kind of useless on Legend. But then this entire row is kind of useless on Legend. Like, there aren't... Like, in the initial wave of the Horde, there will be plenty of elites as they pull ambience in. But then the rest is just trash. And especially if you're solo, it's actually, like, you can start to then get overwhelmed by the trash. And that's where, like, having Swift Slaying procs really matters. And also pushes to control the Horde and so on. But on Kata, it's way safer because it's always shit to tag, and you always have that extra 10% attack speed, which by itself is enough. But obviously, if you can get Swift Slaying as well, beautiful. And then, yeah, obviously, just all that. The main thing is, like, I think Flens is probably better than Riposte. I don't use Riposte much, but my take on it is, like, Riposte is one of those things that, like, it gets value in, like, hugely clutch situations. Like, if there's 4 Storm Vermin on you and you're not controlling them, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're just on you, and for whatever reason, they're all in, like, running attacks and stuff like that, and you're in a position where, like, okay, I'm having to do a lot of blocking, I'm really being hard pressured. It gives you the potential to just get guaranteed Killing Blow procs and to just wipe multiple elites, specials, blah, 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 just instant make space for yourself. Is that better than the amount of space that, like, Flens or Death Knell would probably make? Maybe not. I should probably try Death Knell because I do hit a lot of headshots, but it is what it is. I like Riposte because it's active and it's fun. That's me. But yeah, the rest is simple. I babbled way too much. I'm so keyed up this morning. I think all I want to do is freaking talk. But I finally have my Witch Hunter Captain and Foot Knight builds, I would say, Kata ready. I have a decent Kata build for this guy. The thing is, doing Kata with bots, I just don't know what I'm going to do on the range careers. Like, the bots they're just diabolical. I've tried Swift Blow and just, like, clearing the Horde with Swift Bow, but no matter how fast you shoot the Horde, like, the bots just don't engage with the Horde, you know? But maybe with skeletons, it would help. I don't know. I'll have to look into it. But either way, I think I have a pretty decent setup now, finally, for Kata and doing Kata with bots. And actually, I think it's a really nice setup. And I think if you're struggling on Kata with bots, try to think about it like that. Think about it purely in the sense of, like, the bots are only going to do certain things. They're going to do them a lot. So you want to build in to getting benefit from those things. So what bots are going to do is they're going to push. As long as they have stamina, they're going to push. Bots will often double push enemies and fully knock them on their ass before they even try to damage them. Bots try to make everything as safe as possible before they actually attempt to do damage. So giving them abilities that give them more push, more stamina, and that give value to their pushes, so allow them to actually like stagger dangerous enemies when they're pushing, is the way to build them. And then giving them things that will buff your damage, and give them utility out of like blocking and defending and so on, because they're going to default to a lot of that anyway. And a lot of the time, the main value that they're getting is just kind of existing, taking up space. So you want to make them tanky. You don't want them to die because they're very good at staying alive. And then you want to make them, give them utility through like passive abilities and ults and stuff like that, because they will just kind of spam ult. So there's some do, some don't. Like the Foot Knight does not spam his ult anywhere near as much as he could, which I don't understand, but it is what it is. Actually, you know what we're going to do?
Sure you wouldn't like me to send word home, Caribbean? I've a lad who's prepared to take the risk.
There's no need.
I never play Shade. And I'm pretty convinced that Shade is the most... I don't even know what the breakpoints are, and I kind of don't care. I'm not really going to be doing anything about specials, so maybe I'll legitimately just bring the Swift Bow and spam them. Oh, I forgot I had multiple javelins. Actually, this thing will probably do fine. Alright, I'm gonna get rolled on this map, but Shade is so busted. Like, Shade is the most boosted hero in this game. I don't even use stealth on Shade. Like, I've never even used the parry and she's still busted. Just the headshot damage is so busted.
We're here to solve a mystery, so be sure to listen out for my directions. Oh, what's the point with any of this? You're only going to forget it all once the illusion's prepared.
Come on, Lumberfoots! The tower's this way.
Weapons ready, Drangbarati. Raki are everywhere.
Let them come. My flames will greet them. Delicious strike! Storm vermin!
I'm already at 9 stacks. It's such a joke ability.
My thoughts are wonderful. I walk beyond the lights.
Aye, we've a leech by the sound of it.
The sorcerer torments them. A gutter gunner. Are you ready, mayflies?
Oh, come on. I tried to push him.
Hey, lovely. Another burden to bear. Where's that signal going?
Stand ready. God, you must have more. Get ready. Over here. Easy pickings for you. Only a story. Bring it on.
Oh my god, my keybinds.
The storm is deceased.
Get it off. That's right. That's right.
Gas rat. See that? Clover dead. Gas rat's dead.
That's all.
Heal, queen. Shield me from sight. Gas rat. Ratling, stay out of its sights.
Shade is such a joke here. I genuinely wish they would just delete Shade from the game or full rework it, because when I say like Shade players are boosted, I mean 9 out of 10 times when someone does something incredibly stupid on a kata run, it's because they're a Shade player that only knows how to kill shit. That doesn't know anything about like spawn points, triggers, like, you know, just like the map tempo, when they're likely to get hordes.
No even screaming. Kill that blight stormer. Sometimes I do wonder how you're still alive these days. Kill the sorcerer, kill the storm. Patrol of stunners. Gun ready.
Find the shield bearers.
Dash away. Blackfire. Skaven Danrat. I can't fight much longer. The bat Black rat. A challenge at last.
Yeah, man. Brotherhood, the lot of you. You here? Just take a swing. Right here. Give me a good.
That patrol actually stood in the fire. Was it because they were full engaged? Were those walls not climbable?
I take out my frustrations where I can, wizard. And since I'll be uproar if I shoot one of you.
Seems normal to me, Salmon. Right, Stormer, close.
Healing draft. You'll need it. You are survived.
Not the wind wasn't.
Storm vermin. The city is much improved when its citizens are silent.
Shield rat. Someone give me a breather. Rover's been grabbing. No one likes me.
That makes perfect sense. Where did he come from exactly?
Dusk and shadow. The darkness shines flashing eyes. That's a solid-looking gate.
Now, don't be alarmed, but I think a red blood shaman has disrupted my illusion.
More storm vermin. There's no end to them. I smell it, storm vermin.
Gas! That's a gas rat! Don't like that, do you, gas rat?
A black rat. I challenge you. Is that gate really serving much of a purpose? I say good.
Go on! Again! I can take it! Hogger! Anthony, do it! Just a little touch-up, Talon!
You're a kind one. That's a storm sorcerer. Mine is a tale of heroism, like you merely share. Another storm vermin will die like the rest. Not an overboard sorcerer. Could be worse. Farming!
Get off me, backstabber!
It's going to spray!
Right, rolled that enough! Clobber it again! Kill the faggot! Come on! Go on! Hit me harder!
I don't... Ah!
Hey, here, get the axe! You stink, Scott! You die!
There's something odd about that statue. It's too gaudy. And I think there's something else.
Bastard! Gas rat! Not any longer!
Light leech! Kill with haste, Mayflies! Finish the troll!
Silent Leech? He just dropped down in silence, instantly started blasting me. No sound cues, nothing. No hero callouts. One of the things that people don't realize about the difficulty in Tide games is that everything
Hello there. And a
everything is dependent on your ability to actually react to the things that are happening on the map. And a lot of it requires you to take some sort of preemptive action. And when the game can just literally drop like 3 special enemies on your head, you can just lose and there's nothing you can do about it. The frustrating thing is that people will say, you know, like, that the problem is mechanical, right? Or again, you know, the one that I always hear is manipulating spawns, manipulating spawns. That's always what people say. Oh, the really good players know how to manipulate spawns. It's like, bro, it doesn't, it's not how the game works. I'm sorry. Just go look up internal systems Vermintide II wiki. It's literally like, it's in English. It explains exactly how to spawn. You can't manipulate spawns. The only way to manipulate spawns is to basically kite aggro. And I don't mean one fucking Blightstormer. One Blightstormer is useless to you if your PC is actually functional and rats don't just walk into the storm. It's also useless to you if there are actually ads on your map because it throws elites all over the map and then they aggro random shit which paths back to you with them. All a Blightstormer does is throw elites, is just spray elites all over the map like confetti and then get you collapsed on. Like, they're one of the most dangerous and harmful enemies in the fucking game. Like, if you genuinely think that Blightstormers are like easy, free, blah, 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 I promise you, optimize your game. I'm like, look into how many worker threads you should have assigned, ensure that you meet the minimum spec requirements, lower your graphics a little bit, turn off other programs when you play the game, make sure your CPU is not under like massive load, and play the game with a relatively decent system at realistic specs where, you know, it can have a good amount of CPU resources, like playing it with at least a PC that would have been, you know, released towards like top of the line when this game came out, something comparable in terms of, you know, CPU outputs. And I fucking promise you, you will change your mind about Blightstormers. Because one, you will almost never see them. They appear almost always around visual obstructions or around corners or as far away as possible. you will very rarely hear them because there's actually things happening on your map because there's ads on the map and there's big hordes and you know what I'm saying? So there's multiple visual tracks and specials come 3 and 4 at a time. So the visual tracks all overlap. And you see what I'm saying? Like completely different game. When you just kind of like poodle along and they waddle in one at a time in the open and just kind of stand there and wait for you to shoot them. So you're just kind of like, oh, you know, okay, this one lone gas rat, oh, he could help me by throwing gas. I'll let him throw gas. Or you just think, you know what? I don't want him to throw gas, so I'm just going to shoot him. What do I care? There's 6 slave rats and nothing else on the map. Like, well, yeah, of course you can shoot the fucking gas rat. Try it when you're trying to kite 5 storm vermin in a hyper-dense horde, an actual horde that is trying to surround you and using running animations, not just ambling into you one at a time in a fucking passive spaghetti string of unarmored trash. Try doing it. Try dealing with gas rat, ratling, and assassin in the middle of that. If the game is never throwing shit like that at you, if that's not normal for you on like solo legend, if that's not, you know, 95, 98% of your runs are not ending like that, just getting literally drowned in elites and specials, you're playing on a potato or you're deliberately throttling your settings. There's literally no other explanation for it. Unless, because again, okay, what you're going to say, your mechanics are just that much better than mine, are they? Please show me your gameplay. Please. I have to see these mechanics for myself. I beg. I need to see it. Because I've seen the best players and their mechanics aren't that much better than mine. Like, don't get me wrong, players like Chocob and Teleport's like the absolute fucking, you know, tippy top, like people who are getting into Onslaught series and stuff like that. Hell, I've seen Onslaught players whose mechanics are no better than mine. Maybe better under pressure, but what's better is the macro, the decision making, the positioning, the use of abilities, the juggling of buffs and you know, uptime of everything. So they're better players. I'm not saying they're not. Like, I'm not coping, but I'm saying mechanically speaking. So if someone is going to tell me the reason is, oh, well, you just don't kill fast enough. Well, okay, tell me how to kill faster. I am using a weapon that has one of the best damage outputs in the game on a career that has ridiculous damage outputs. Like a career that I can just blender mix hordes with on fucking kata, but I can't make enough space for myself to kill a special on legend because it's not one special, it's 3. Do you see what I'm saying? So like, tell me what build to use. Tell me how I hit more headshots than I do. Tell me what's so sloppy and bad about my mechanics. The 2 mechanical failings today were assassins jumping behind me, pouncing to be 180 behind my crosshair, and then repouncing. So I didn't even think they were pouncing on me because of what I hear and see. It looks like they're jumping in some other direction. I don't realize that they're literally jumping behind me so that I have to 180 flick shot them. Like, again, how often do assassins do that? Do you see assassins doing that? These are just fucking modern CPU crazy shit that happens now. And, okay, so, you know, now that I have awareness of that, eventually it will get in and it will get to the point where it's robotic, where I'm just like, oh, okay, I know assassins can do that. If I think the assassin might be behind me, I just need to like block, turn around and see if it's there. The thing is, if the assassin lands close enough, if it isn't close enough for you to stagger it out of its pounce animation, the pounce itself is literally unreactable if it's close enough. So if the assassin gets behind you, but it's too far, it's outside of your weapon's arc, either you have to melee it out of the air, which can be done with good timing, you've seen me do it, or it free pounces you, or you flick shot it with your ranged weapon, which is extremely dangerous. I don't know, man. Anyway, I wanted to just do some Shade gameplay because, like, Jesus Christ, I was playing Shade the other night and it's such a broken career. The headshot thing is just silly. But anyway, we're gonna wrap that up. I've been ranting and yapping, but like as I say, it kind of puts me in a bad mood, but it also puts me in a good mood. And because it's like, oh, okay, look, the shit that I'm dying to, like, no one lives that shit. The only way, like, okay, yes, the absolute very best players, the really, really crazy level players do live that shit. But most people, nah. And I mean, even people who are like known for doing true solos and stuff, I've seen their failed runs. They die to shit that's trivial compared to some of the shit that I die to. They die to shit that's trivial compared to some of the shit that I survive. And the most impressive plays you ever see them make are like just kiting a monster and a bunch of trash around an empty map. Like that's it. It's just kiting stuff around an empty map. Like it's legitimately like I don't even like watching it anymore because it's boring. And as I said, even if like I know exactly how I can set my PC up to have the game run like that, I might even fuck around with it and just do it on a stream very deliberately just to show the difference because it could be interesting. But we'll see. Anyway, as I say, I'm yapping. It's good. It makes me feel better about my gameplay. I actually got 2 Kata with bots wins today on stream. That was nice. I proved that I can do it even though I showed a video of me doing it. But I'm trying to point out, like I couldn't do it on stream. It's normal for me to be able to do it off stream, but I can't do it on stream. And as I say, I've even finished Legend True Solos. I've done Fort Braxenbrooker. I've done Screenbill. I've done Against the Grain. You know, the easy maps, basically. I've actually never done Into the Nest. I've gotten to Scarrick and then I die at Scarrick. I'm so bad at fighting Scarrick, especially one-on-one, because I get so little practice doing it. So, like, I think you know what I'm saying? It's like, I think I've literally tried to solo Legend Scarrick twice. Like, I've gotten to him twice. So I just haven't, like, it's a different fight when there's 3 bots. It's a different fight. Because you can just, like, walk around the arena and kill the ads as slowly as you want, and the whole time your bots are chipping him down. You don't have to worry about, like, you know, getting fully tar pitted in the ads and never DPSing the boss and having to juggle the 2 things efficiently and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I know people say that's an easy fight, but not for me, not solo. So I've never actually done Into the Nest. But as I say, it's doable. You just need a really godlike lucky run if you're playing on a good PC, where you just have extremely lucky special spawns and ambients and bosses and stuff like that. Because there are just things that if this happens, you lose. Like, mechanically, you cannot exceed the requirements. Anyway, I'm yapping so much, but a general point is I'm in a good mood today. I'm really happy that I actually read all that stuff, that I actually know about it, that I've learned it, that, you know what I'm saying? This is not just like EOM conspiracy bullshit anymore. It's like, it's fully explained. And even if other people don't want to believe it, you know, I understand it in my head, and it helps me understand the game and make more sense of the game, which is very helpful for like my gameplay, because I'm just at the point now where it's like, there's no point in me watching other people. This game is way too variable. Even just little things like the way rats move. And it's like, I don't know, maybe it's like genuinely is just like on this PC, 20 rats can have smart scripting at once. On this PC, 40 rats can have smart scripting at once. On this PC, 5 rats can have smart. Like, maybe it genuinely is that. Or maybe that is also determined by intensity, and then intensity is determined by how quickly you kill things, and how quickly you kill things is determined by how intelligently they, by the density of ads, which is partially determined by frame rate. Do you see what I'm saying? How it all connects and combines. You see what I'm saying? Anyway, it's very interesting, but I'm genuinely trying to understand, like, how can I use the inner systems to make it easier to solo? And I don't see it. As I say, aside from map skipping, I'm not seeing how it can be done. And no one talks about it, so I don't believe it. Unless there's some secret Discord server somewhere where all the true solo players share their secrets and they don't tell the plebs. Maybe they know. Please invite me to the Discord. I would humbly accept all the flaws in my gameplay. You know what I'm saying? To get better. If it was, and I know there are flaws in my game, hideous flaws in my gameplay. But do you see what I'm saying? Like if someone were to come along and just say, "Oh, because you did this wrong, you did that wrong, you did that wrong. You always need to do this when you do this." Blah 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 blah, and just laid it out simply like that, I would just be like, "Oh my god, mind blown! Thank you so much." Now I just completely level up as a player. Do you know what I'm saying? But I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't. I've been trying to get that help and that advice. It's nowhere. It doesn't exist. People say use gas rats. I say how. As I say, they can't tell you how. They just assume that the rats are going to walk into the gas, and that the gas is never going to inconvenience you or force you into ads or. So I don't. You know what I'm saying? I can't replicate the advice that I'm being given. Just doesn't apply. It doesn't help me. So I'm having to try to carve out and find my own meta. But yeah, it is what it is. It's interesting. I feel like I've more or less cracked the code on Kata, but as I say, we'll have to try some harder maps like Horn of Magnus and stuff like that and really give it like a good test. And then I might find that certain things need to be tweaked. But either way, we're going to wrap that up for today. I've been streaming for so long, almost 3 hours, and very little gameplay actually, just a lot of freaking babble and crazy madness. But it is what it is.